and of his own immense debt. After he had taken a turn or two up and down the gallery, he came out again and descended the steps. He was but slenderly supplied with a certain social boldness — it was really a weakness in him — so that, conscious of a want of acquaintance with the four persons in the distance, he gave way to motions recommended by their not committing him to a positive approach. There was a fine English awkwardness in this. He felt that, too, as he sauntered vaguely and obliquely across the lawn, taking an independent line. Fortunately, there was an equally fine English directness in the way one of the gentlemen presently rose and made as if to stalk him, though with an air of conciliation and reassurance. To this demonstration Paul Overt instantly responded, even if the gentleman were not his host. He was tall, straight, and elderly, and had, like the great house itself, a pink smiling face, and into the bargain a white moustache. Our young man met him halfway while he laughed and said, Lady Watermouth told us you were coming. She asked me just to look after you." Paul Overt thanked him, liking him on the spot, and turned round with him to walk toward the others. "They've all gone to church, all except us," the stranger continued as they went. "We're just sitting here. It's so jolly." Overt pronounced it jolly indeed. It was such a lovely place. He mentioned that he was having the charming impression for the first time. "Ah, you've not been here before," said his companion. "It's a nice little place, not much to do, you know." Overt wondered what he wanted to do. He felt that he himself was doing so much. By the time they came to where the others sat, he had recognized his initiator for a military man, and, such was the turn of Overt's imagination, had found him thus still more sympathetic. He would naturally have a need for action, for deeds at variance with the pacific, pastoral scene. He was evidently so good-natured, however, that he accepted the inglorious hour for what it was worth. Paul Overt shared it with him and with his companions for the next 20 minutes. The latter looked at him and he looked at them without knowing much who they were, while the talk went on without much telling him even what it meant. It seemed indeed to mean nothing in particular. It wandered, with casual pointless pauses and short terrestrial flights, amid names of persons and places, names which for our friend had no great power of evocation. It was all sociable and slow, as was right and natural of a warm Sunday morning. His first attention was given to the question, privately considered, of whether one of the two younger men would be Henry St. George. He knew many of his distinguished contemporaries by their photographs, but had never, as happened, seen a portrait of the great misguided novelist. One of the gentlemen was unimaginable. He was too young, and the other scarcely looked clever enough with such mild and undiscriminating eyes. If those eyes were St. George's, the problem, presented by the ill-matched parts of his genius, would be still more difficult of solution. Besides, the deportment of their proprietor was not, as regards the lady in the red dress, such as could be natural toward the wife of his bosom, even to a writer accused by several critics of sacrificing too much to manner. Lastly, Paul Overt had a vague sense that if the gentleman with the expressionless eyes bore the name that had set his heart beating faster, he also had contradictory conventional whiskers. The young admirer of the celebrity had never in a mental vision seen his face in so vulgar a frame. He would have given him a sign of recognition or of friendliness, would have heard of him a little, would know something about Ginistrella, would have an impression of how that fresh fiction had caught the eye of real criticism. Paul Overt had a dread of being grossly proud, but even morbid modesty might view the authorship of Ginistrella as constituting a degree of identity. His soldierly friend became clear enough. He was Fancourt, but was also the General, and he mentioned to the new visitor in the course of a few moments that he had but lately returned from 20 years' service abroad. "And now you remain in England?" the young man asked. "Oh yes, I've bought a small house in London." "And I hope you like it," said Overt, looking at Mrs. St. George. "Well, a little house in Manchester Square. There's a limit to the enthusiasm that inspires." "Oh, I meant being at home again, being back in Piccadilly." "My daughter likes Piccadilly, that's the main thing. She's very fond of art and music and literature and all that kind of thing. She missed it in India and she finds it in London, or she hopes she'll find it."